Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Gian. Welcome to another episode of the FMA Dumpster Fire podcast. Hey, I just want to say again, thank you for everybody who is subscribed to the FMA Source YouTube channel. Super appreciate it. Still growing at a very rapid pace. So I really appreciate the love and the support. If you guys are out there, just give me a quick thumbs up there if you guys can hear me. Everything's good. We can continue. Today, I'm going to be breaking down a video where I kind of sucked. This was a sparring match, a knife fight. Let's call it a knife fight. Sounds way more badass. I got in a knife fight, you guys. Got in a knife fight with Mark Medeiros. Check him out at JKD Combative Sciences on Instagram. This dude's a bad mother effer, man. And I still remember he does this Superman punch with a knife, and it's not pleasant. And since he's a JKD guy, it's all non-telegraphed and stuff. And he got me good in the face a bunch of times. So just keep in mind, this was 3 years ago. A little bit better. I think I'm a little bit better. No, I'm a little bit better. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the mistakes that I made. And then more importantly, I'm going to share with you the ways in which I improved and how I improved those things. And hopefully through my pain, there can be some stuff learned for others watching. So without further ado, I'm going to remove that over there. And I'm going to play this video of me getting my ass handed to me. All right. So, before this, quick shout out to the Kali program at Combat Arts Academy in Mississauga. Super dope facility, you guys. And why it's super dope is they offer Pikiti Tertia Kali under Justin Patricio Fernando, who is a student of Tuhan Philip Gelina. That place has raised a couple of dog brothers. I fought a couple of dog brothers in there. Badass dudes. But the Kali program at Combat Arts in Mississauga is really something else. And if you get an opportunity to check it out, make sure to go check it out. Now I'm going to play the video of me getting my ass handed to me. So here it is. Enjoy. Maybe I'll even talk through it. Oh my God, look at that. Boom! There's the first Superman punch to my face. Disgusting. That was pretty good. I went low-high. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. I'm the guy on the right, by the way. I'm wearing way better shorts. Oh, God. 2 to the face. Look at this guy leaning in. I'm making a lot of mistakes here, guys. Really making mistakes. But I'm going to get better. All right. I should say I have gotten better.
Let's go, Paulo.
I've gotten better.
Oh, yeah. Good look, good look, good look.
Well, that was technically a disarm, but no follow through, right? I was just like, oh, okay. Ooh, that was close. Oh, another one! Got another one to my face. Okay, that was pretty good. That was pretty good on my part. All right, okay. All right. So we're gonna talk about some of the mistakes I made, and how I worked on making it better. In the meantime, you know what we forgot? We forgot to wear freaking gloves. And I remember my hand was absolutely shredded after this match. I'm just going to play this on loop for y'all. Let me see. Make my face bigger here. Bam. Nah, frig it. Let's do it like this. By the way, guys, if you appreciate these kinds of breakdowns, again, hit the thumbs up. Right? Let's the YouTube algorithm know that I'm doing something right and you guys are appreciating this. Hey, listen, if you're here because you just want to see me get my ass kicked or whatever, you don't like me for whatever reason, hit the thumbs down button. It's all good. It's all the same. It's all engagement. But yeah, so I'm gonna read here a little bit as you guys enjoy seeing Sifu Mark Medeiros absolutely kicking my ass. By the way, he was being very generous here. I don't know if you can tell. But, you know, this was 3 years ago. Still a relative noob to knife sparring. Let's just call it knife fighting. Can we just do that? I mean, well, there's no such thing as a knife fighter. So, I mean, we may as well have, like, something that's close enough. Oh, look at that. Iron Tree Kali, hope you're feeling better. Yes, I'm feeling better. The back is still at that point where it's like, it's kind of tricky. For those of you who don't know, I wrecked my back. I'm an old man. I'm turning 42. No, I just turned 41 in February. I'm going to be 42 soon. So yeah, it really affected my creativity. I'm at this stage in my back recovery now where it's dangerous. It's dangerous because I think I'm feeling better. I'm thinking, okay, there's a little stiffness, a little pain when I do this. And that's really when I kind of start pushing it, and it's not cool. So yeah. Hey, Clive Turner, how's it going, my friend? Love back from Toronto. And Beat, nice to see you too. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys being here. I really appreciate the comments, man. It really means something to me. It really does. I mean, I've spent 10 years highlighting other people, and now I'm kind of just highlighting a little bit and sharing a little bit about who I am. And plus, this freaking Kali thing just gripped my soul, man. Like, I totally was not expecting at all to love FMA as much as I love FMA. But I love FMA. And it's just a super dope thing to do. For whatever reason you want to do it, just go ahead and do it. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for hitting that like button. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button. So now the lessons as you watch me. So the first thing that was lacking here was my footwork, and my structure was just way too inviting. It wasn't bad, but it lacked that mesmerizing effect that I now seek in my movement. So today, my maneuvering keeps my opponents thinking a little bit harder. It gives them less time to formulate like in-fight strategies. As you can see here, I was still too often, right? And that's very, very inviting. And if that's not done with a tactical purposefulness, it really is just asking to get a Superman stab to the face. So, these days, I like to keep my footwork really varied. I switch from Balin to walk, stoic footwork, right? Just moving very efficiently as needed. I switch up to the Calice Illustrissimo deceptive footwork on the defensive. I think KI really has phenomenal footwork that really lends itself well to preventing afterblows and preventing initial contact. The lutang, the retirada, amazing. And of course, all of this, what underpins all of this is Pikiti Tersha footwork. Pikiti Tersha footwork is absolutely incredible. And depending on where you really study, there's a whole lot of ways to train it. All right. So maneuvering, right, is a way to have some control over my opponent's OODA loop. And I know OODA loop, blah, 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 OODA loop has been bastardized, but I really mean it. Good maneuvering has a way to control your opponent's OODA loop. Now, if they're constantly having to shift points of observation and delay their ability to orient, then their decision and action phases are in constant shuffle. And I hope this leads to hesitation. I hope this leads to them overthinking. I hope this leads to them getting a little bit frustrated on finding those good points of entry, right? Hesitation, overthinking, and frustration leads to poor decision making. And over time, what I do is I collect data on which poor decisions my opponents are likely to manifest based on the footwork models that I'm applying, right? So this is why it's really, really important, you guys. Document, film, and heck, even, God forbid, share your sparring matches. I highly encourage that. Not only does it show that, demonstrably that there is a level of humility in your game, because it's unlikely that you're going to have a perfect match where you're untouched, but it also really serves you very, very well, right? When you can look back at a piece of crap performance like I gave there 3 years ago, then you really have a really nice quantifiable way to go, hey, I have improved, right? I don't do that. I don't make that mistake as often. I never say that I won't make the same mistake. I make a lot of mistakes. So let's talk about utilizing stillness more tactically, using it as a bait instead of a safe haven for my own thought processes. Right. So I see this quite often, not just in myself but in others. They have really, really dynamic footwork when they're out of range. They're trying to. It seems like they're trying to find their entry points, and then they plant for what seems like an eternity. And so sometimes I think that stillness doesn't really serve a purpose other than for them to just catch up with their own thought processes and go, oh, I think I should try this combination. Right. So when you use stillness tactically, you're using it as a bait. You're using it as part of the bigger framework of giving your opponent everything to think about. Right? They need to be thinking about, why is he moving to my left? Why is he moving to my right? Why is he changing levels? Why is he more willing now to stay in the pocket, whereas just a minute ago he was playing a Largo game? So all of these variations in your style of fighting in fight, even within the framework of a minute and a half or 3 minutes, however long you guys spar for, the more you have them thinking, the less time that they have to, to orient, to decide on an action, and then to act on that action. And if you do a really, really good job, you can actually manufacture mistakes. I'm not there yet. I want to really get to a point in my footwork and everything else where I can predictably manufacture mistakes for my opponents. I think that's a really, really high level. I think that's a really great goal to strive for. And the cool thing about that goal is it's a lot like golf. You can have a day where you're just on point and you're amazing, and then a day where those things don't seem to work out, and that's totally fine. I think a lot of how we were taught FMA, not me, because I'm special. No, I'm just kidding. I came into it late. That's what happened. And then I also learned from all the lessons that my elders, my actual elders, gave me, and I took those to heart. Right. So I never really fell into the trappings of having unrealistic expectations about what my FMA is and what it isn't, and when it can be one thing and when it is another thing. So back to stillness, right? And using stillness tactically as a way to manipulate the opponent's frantic thought cycles. This is frantic. It is stick fighting. It is knife fighting. It is very, very primal, and it's very easy to lose control. So the more control you have, not only over your own emotions, but the emotional and thought processes of your opponent, I think the likelihood for successful moments in time exponentially increase, more so than if you just relied on instinct alone, which, by the way, instinct is super important. So an analogy about this tactical stillness I like to use is the piñata, right? Depending if you're blindfolded or not. But if you're not blindfolded, there's a moment where the piñata stops moving and it hovers perfectly in range, inviting this big swing to release the candy. And it just gets pulled. You appear foolish. So stillness is a wonderful, wonderful tactic. And if you watch the old dudes, if you watch like really old grandmasters, they have really no matter what system they study, whether their system is Pikiti Tersha, which has a high emphasis on mobility and footwork. You look at someone like Grand Tuhan Leo Gahe, because of his condition, because of his age, he has to utilize stillness as a tactic and be predictive in what you're going to do in your attempts to manipulate that stillness. And he's going to be 1 or 2 steps ahead. And what appeared to be an old man standing still becomes a much harder target to hit than it first appeared to be. So weaponizing stillness in conjunction with really a variety of footwork models is key. And if I can do a sidetrack just for a moment, guys, this really highlights the importance of cross training and fighting people from other styles and other systems. No matter how good your small circles are, no matter how well they can emulate other styles, there's no replacing fighting somebody from a different style. There's just no replacing that. So always be inviting, always be traveling, and always be welcoming to new opportunities. And then, look, I don't hide this. Right? I learned KI to beat KI guys. I learned Balintawak to beat Balintawak guys. I learned Pikiti to beat Pikiti guys. Right? I learned modern Arnis to beat modern Arnis guys. And if those guys are refusing to do the same with me, then I really can't say anything about that, because I'm offering up what I know in this collaborative but non-cooperative exchange called sparring. If they're not studying what I do so that they can beat me better next time, um, I don't know what to say. They absolutely should be doing that. Okay, so we talked about footwork and maneuvering and how stillness plays a part in that. And then I went on a sidetrack to talk about cross training. And anyway, by the way, are there still anyone out there who has just like studied one system in their whole life? Is there? I don't know. Oh, and by the way, um, oh man, this is another topic. Okay, I'm gonna go for another sidetrack. Okay, I'm just gonna pause this. I'm gonna go for another sidetrack, and then I'm gonna address the comments. So my sidetrack is this. I've asked this in forums before about, hey, when you're learning a new FMA system, do you start from the very beginning and do you take on the same progression as somebody who's never trained any FMA system before? And I think a lot of the people, so let me rephrase that. Okay. So if you've trained for years and years in Pikiti Tertia, and then you want to learn Calis Illustrissimo, do you learn Calis Illustrissimo from the absolute beginning, doing the exact same process that everyone in that system learns? I think the right answer is yes, of course. I want to honor the system. I am a white belt. I want to do it exactly how they do it. I think that's an absolute waste of time, and it does not take into account, look, it does not take into account all the lessons that you learned. And if you're a principle based learner and you don't carry those lessons to expedite your learning a new art, I think you might be doing something wrong. The only exception is, in my opinion, is if you want to teach that art. Obviously, you want to learn the ins and outs, the details of that art from beginning to end, so you can honor the system, you can honor your master, and you can teach it the way you've been taught. That's one way. But if you're learning an art for your own personal evolution as a fighter, there is no reason to learn it from the very beginning and to continue that linear progression that a beginner takes. There's no reason. It's an absolute waste of time. It's an absolute waste of time, in my opinion. Of course, there are going to be instances where I'm wrong, right? People are going to be able to come up with a specific set of circumstances where I'm wrong, and I get that. And look, my homeboy, LOS strategy, Darcy says, I literally show up as a white belt, and I get that. I understand. This is not to say that when you're learning from somebody, you're like, oh, well, I did this already. You're still going to do the process, right? And to some degree, and it is really important to approach every training opportunity. If you're a student, be a student, right? Be a student. You can ask your questions during, if they allow it, or afterwards, and then train it out. So that's my divergence, right? So especially when we're talking about Filipino martial arts, unless you want to be an instructor of that system, ain't no reason to learn the entirety of a system, especially if you've learned one system proper, right? I guess my biases are showing up. I think all of FMA is fundamentally the same. I think that and here's my proof, okay? Take any system, Pikiti Tertia, Balintawak, Modern East, Estacado de Campo, whatever, any system, Hirona Eskrima, and Stockton Multis, any system. You take any FMA system and you observe them sparring, it's going to look a lot. It's going to look very similar. Um, And if you are a principle based learner where you learn concepts and principles and you explore the infinite ways that those things can manifest, then you can learn any of those things from any system. All right, that is just my opinion, you pancit eating mother humpers. Okay. Hey, Sensei Emmett, how's it going? What's up? What's up, Mark? How's it going? Clive Turner, looks like a lot of lose. Oh, lose in this video. Okay. Which is great for learning and playing. Have you done much one strike sparring? When I competitively fought in foil epee saber? Yes. Point sparring. Point sparring gets a bad rap, but point sparring is closer to realism than Dog Brothers fighting. All right, that's my opinion. Right? Doesn't mean I don't like Dog Brothers stuff, because God knows I do. But I just think that when you're point sparring, it is closer to reality than full out smashing, right? Because when you're point sparring, the name of the game are the pre-clash maneuvering and strategy, which is exactly what happens when you watch any sort of a machete fight in real life. When you watch any sort of a knife duel in real life, everything is all about the pre-clash moments, right? It culminates into a strike. More often than not, right? It doesn't go into a clinch. It's in and out, right? At least from the videos that I've seen. Obviously, there are instances where it does get friggin' connected. But for the most part, this is why I believe point fighting in FMA is super duper important, especially if you want to talk about, reality. The reality part of Dog Brothers is that you're going to fight no matter what. If you get cut, if you get hit, if you get kicked in the balls, you're going to fight through it. That's the lesson in Dog Brothers format fighting. It's a test of your courage, your will, your resilience, and your grit. But if you want to talk about another form of realism, it's the fact that motherfucker's holding a machete, right? I'm not going to umbrella entry into a clinch. I'm just going to try to avoid that at all costs, and I'm going to try to tag him from a distance, remain relatively safe, and then tell him he's bleeding and wait for the crowd to go, okay, he's bleeding. Okay, this is over. We don't want this to be a murder scene. So, guys, if you hated on point fighting before, please don't. Please give it a try, right? Fight some high-level dudes in point fighting, and you will understand my point. That it is absolutely full of opportunities to have a very realistic, at least mind game up here, within the relative safety of the point sparring format. All right, Clive Turner, thank you very much for that. I appreciate you, homie. Yo, the heck, man? You guys all subscribe to the channel yet or what? It takes 2 seconds. You guys are watching from Facebook. Go on FMA Source on YouTube, man. Just do brother solid, man. Go hit that subscribe button. All right, what's up, Derwin? Derwin from Calgary. Derwin is such a Filipino name. It's probably a combination of your mom's name and your dad's name. And it's Darlene and Irwin. So your name's Derwin. It's true. Let me know if I'm right, Derwin. Mark Medeiros. Yeah, my man. That's the dude who smashed my face. I like to attack quickly after moving slowly. Offsetting your speed, your cadence, your tempo, your rhythm. Oh my God. I'm getting all moist, guys. I'm getting all moist because this is so important. And this is something that, whenever you see like two dudes doing a flow drill and it's just super fast, but it's the same cadence, that's not impressive. Well, it is impressive, but it's not that impressive. Because basically what they're doing is they're doing the same choreographed pattern, but faster. And if you have an untrained eye, you're not even going to be able to tell that it's a choreographed pattern. This is going to look like two guys with really great reaction timing. Meanwhile, it's just faster choreography. So when you offset your speed, your timing, your cadence, or as Mark simply put it here, he likes to attack quickly after moving slowly. Mark is the one with the inferior shorts than me because my shorts are dope. They're the 511 strike shorts, by the way. Watch him. He absolutely does this, right? Right? He's like, boom, and then he strikes like a friggin' cobra. So offsetting your speed, man, absolutely critical. Something that we work a lot on in the boudoir. We incorporate offsetting speed, energy, and intensity, even in the most consensual flow drills, because it prevents us from falling asleep. It prevents us from getting lulled into a predictable cadence. So whatever it is that you guys do, whatever flow drill you guys like to do, if you could add just one thing to that, is to slow down and then explode. It sounds like really good sex advice. Slow down and then explode and then change up the rhythm of the strokes. You know what I'm saying? All right, before I get my ass kicked by YouTube. What is this? Musashi talks about passing on moods like a stillness. I like this Musashi guy. By the way, some dude said I reminded him of Musashi. Just putting it out there. I know if I say that shit, people are going, "Oh, what the fucking Paul think he is comparing himself to Musashi?" I'm not comparing myself to Musashi. I'm just saying somebody noted that, I remind them of Musashi. And they used to be great friends back in the day. So I don't know if it was bullshitting me, but he said he and Musashi used to have drinks. It's probably bullshitting me. I find when an instructor realizes my training, they often, not always, but often don't teach me as well and get weird. Yeah, I can get, yeah. But it's really hard to, once you touch hands with someone, it becomes quite apparent, right? It becomes quite apparent, your level of training. So yeah, but I get it. There's egos involved. I'm interested in self-defense. That's why I train and learn constantly different styles. I don't need to focus on one style and learn it from A to Z and limit myself. Yeah. Lamont, what's up? This guy's a badass fighter. Lamont class, shout out. Blackbird training group. Learn from this dude. No, knife don't have quick stopping power on most targets, so point fighting is less pertinent. With a machete, a good hit is a fight changer. Yes, okay, I totally see what you're saying. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think people overestimate sometimes the stopping power of a knife, really, or maybe either that or they underestimate the resilience of the human body. We are very, very resilient creatures, right? So yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't think I've ever done point fighting with a knife. I think it's almost silly and very hard to judge, wouldn't you think? It's very hard to judge point fighting with a knife. I've never actually done that. So good point, Lamont. Good point. Thank you. I appreciate it. Mark, not all initial strikes dictate you win on the first cut, or not all initial strike dictates you win on the first cut. Yeah, I think what you're talking about, Mark, is string them up, chain them. LOS, I love all games. Been learning more. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to pick it up from this. I'm going to get to Mark's comment, Lamont's, Ailes, Mark Medeiros, and Shibi in just a second. I'm just going to try to keep this on point for a second. All right, so the next thing that I sucked here, I'm going to get right back into talking about the things that I improved on from 3 years ago. Strike variety. In this video, you can really see a lack of strike variety on my part. So yeah, fundamentals are what we need for survival, and mastery of just a handful of those strike angles are more than enough. By the way, I use the term mastery very loosely there. But strike variety in a sparring format is absolutely critical, especially against better trained opponents. They are probably most critical, strike variety that is, in those times when we find ourselves in compromising positions and stances, or as a setup, as Mark noted, to land those fundamental strikes. So here I lacked strike variety But far more importantly, I lack the mental agility to see opportunities that instantly trigger um, those strike variations without really thinking about it. So, how I worked on this, how I worked on strike variety. You guys want to know how I worked on strike variety? Carenzas. That is correct. The kata of FMA, Carenzas, or the shadow boxing of FMA. So once I learned the strike angle, I did not just repeat it 10,000 times and I didn't just hit something with it 10,000 times. I incorporated it into the Carenza. And the reasoning behind this is because the Carenza is a free flow, a very controlled and artistic free flow, but you're still having to manage the consequences of one movement to lead you into the next movement. And so, especially when you're going at a nice pace in the Carenza, you really know when, okay, I've just done an angle one. Maybe whatever this angle isn't the best. It isn't the most efficient. So maybe after an angle one, I go to this angle. And so when you're when you're first incorporating strike variety into your sparring game, I think Carenzas are a really, really great way to begin intellectualizing how those things fit into the framework of the stuff that you naturally or already do. So try that. Try that. And again, there are phases to this, right? You want to go slow at first, identify favorites, right? I think that's okay. Identify what your favorite two strike combinations are. Identify, and you know what? Get sophisticated with your footwork. Um, get to a point where you're really trying to do too much that it causes an imbalance or a compromised structure, and explore what strikes can possibly get you out of that jam, which could even facilitate a restructuring of your stance, right? So if you find yourself like this, maybe that strike puts you in better position, right? And Carenzas are really a wonderful tool, really a wonderful gift in the Filipino martial arts. And I love how, for the most part, they're unstructured. If you know how to navigate through no structure, it really becomes a super amazing attribute development tool. But yeah, all pretty useless unless you end up sparring with it. And again, I don't want to sound like I'm an expert, right? Because sometimes when I just have a thought and I just express it, my wife rags on me about this all the time. She always tells me, "Watch how you say things, Paulo, because that matters." Because I'm an Aquarius. I just want to get to the facts. I just want to say what's on my mind. I want to be direct. But thanks, Melissa. I understand that how I say things have repercussions. And sometimes I care about it, and sometimes I don't care about it, to be honest. Sometimes I don't, I really can't control how people interpret what I say. I can only be in control of what I say and be able to stand behind it. So guys, if I seem overly confident, I apologize. Right? Always take what I say under the framework that I am just a beginner. I'm just very enthusiastic. And when I find truths that may be not truths, they may be relative preferences, right, to my style. I don't mean to plaster that across everybody and be so definitive, even though, yes, I come across that way sometimes. Okay. All right. Okay, cool. All right. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is my distance management was garbage. Like, did I not know I was fighting a Sifu here? Was I not made aware that this guy's a JKD practitioner, master, whose epitome philosophically in fight is to be non-telegraphic and to just attack with lightning quick explosivity? Did I not know that back then? Because I'm putting myself in danger. Distance management is related to footwork, but it's also body angling, waving in, waving out, and using relative distance in a more sophisticated way right? Setting baits, using false leads, setting traps. These are all incredibly important. Um, and by the way, they can be appropriately worked to a high degree of efficacy under any kind of consensual partner drills. This is one of those things where I need to check myself because I really don't know too many drills and I really don't know too many evolutions of those drills. Certainly, I don't see those evolutions as frequently as I see the initial stages or the demo versions of those drills, right? We all are familiar with the demo versions of drills. You do this like that. Okay, he hit you like this. Boom, I block like that. Okay, and then a bam, I take away his stick and I hit him in the TT. Right? So I don't know how practitioners in backyards evolve these drills. It's just that I mostly see the initial stages of the drill in a demo format where the grandmaster is trying to like look cool. But I know for a fact, I've been told many times before, and I've seen it in a lot of my friends from all over the world. You guys are innovating. You guys are innovating. And I don't know, maybe I need to be the guy to tell certain people like, yo, I don't care what rank you're at. You've created a great innovation in this drill. You ought to feel free to share it. Because I pick up so many awesome tips and tricks and advice from people that aren't Tuhans, people that aren't GMs. And I incorporate it here with my guys in the boudoir, or at least I internalize it and trust in my brain, really trust in my brain. So yeah, stand up, rise up. All of you guys who maybe aren't even ranked and are doing great things to innovate, show it off, right? And some of it's going to be true innovation. Some of it is going to be a regurgitation of what was once innovative. But we need to start sharing these things more and more and just to be open to peer review and scrutiny. And it's happening. Oh, man, it's happening. It's so good. So good to see. All right, my distance management sucked. What else? I want to use the term sparring and sparring games. I think that's a really cool distinction between sparring and sparring games. Lots of amazing sparring games out there. And then certain sparring, man, it really bleeds into fighting, right? I still think that there's some ambiguity with what we call what in FMA, but who cares? Who cares, right? The point of it is to strip away collaborative energy, to strip away consensual energy, and to remove predictability to a degree on the drills that we already do and the games that we already play. I would say that's awesome. You can call it sparring, you can call it sparring games, you can call it compartmentalized drilling, you can call it whatever you want. But when you strip away, choreography, really amazing things happen. You guys already know this. I'm not saying anything new. And finally, what I sucked here was reaction times. And I'm going to talk a little bit full screen here. I think a lot of drills in Filipino martial arts propose that they're working on their timing, and it's really not. It's really not. A lot of drills propose that they work on like reactions, and they're really not. They're really not. You can work on reactions better by going slowly in an unconsensual, non-collaborative way than you could going fast but predictable. Again, just is that an opinion? Is that the truth? I think it's pretty close to the truth. All right, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I'm going to get to the comments. By the way, thank you guys for joining. Super duper appreciate it. Mark, what good in sparring is it? It's okay. What's good about sparring is it's really develop your focus, response to your partner's attack, and you're going to respond to it. Sparring really matters. Yes. If I understand that correctly, sparring absolutely matters. With Dog Brothers, a stick is a stick when it is a stick. Absolutely. Let's not get into it, Lamont. But that's a really interesting conversation to troll forums on. Um, that a stick or is that an yeah. Yeah, that's a really good one. That's a really good one. But a lot of these conversations they kind of stem um or sorry, they not stem, they propagate like just a lot of dumb stuff, man. Like I'm going to treat my stick like a sword, therefore I'm not going to spar because I'm not going to spar with a sword. Aren't you guys tired of that? I'm tired of it. Shadowboxing in Carenza is where it's at. It's the first base of self discovery. It is the first. Is it first base or first base? Huh? I don't even know if there's a difference. But yeah, absolutely. It's and by the way, guys, when you do your Carenzas, a lot of you guys are going super super fast, and we can't see what's going on. I think my personal metric for somebody who can do Carenza really well isn't in how fast they can go, but in how well they can look while going really, really slowly. Speed hides mistakes, particularly in Carenzas. When you're going too fast, we can't see if your cutting trajectory is in alignment with your imaginary target or if it's flippity flopping, especially with a stick. Obviously, you can't really tell. So go slow. And whenever I guide somebody through a Carenza, and by the way, I'm not an instructor, but I've guided some people through Carenzas. My advice is always first to go slow. And then my second piece of advice is to go even slower. And then my third piece of advice is to go unnaturally slow. So go unnaturally slow. And if you can still look graceful and beautiful, to me, that's high level. To me, that's high level. Going really, really slow in a Carenza is very difficult to do. If you can go really slowly in a Carenza and make it look good and have people appreciate like the technical movements, but also the logic behind how you transition from one move to the next move and how you incorporate footwork within that framework, it is high level stuff. High level stuff. And you can't fake it. You can't fake a good slow Carenza. You can fake a fast Carenza. Easy, easy, easy peasy. And by the way, if you're a high level guy, which I am not, but I use tools to have high level thoughts. But when you watch a really fast Carenza and you can still identify points of failure, technical mastery, things like that, you have a great eye. I slow it down. Yeah, I miss those monthly sparring sessions at combat. But I mean, I haven't sparred. I think I haven't sparred in like 2 or 3 months. Like sparred. But the drills we do at the boudoir, man, they're very challenging. And they manufacture failure all the damn time. Okay. When you're right, you're right. Unless your lady says otherwise. Amen to that. I'm never wrong. Ever. Till I'm wrong. Tai Chi can train you to hide a lot of close range stuff in the physical. Yeah, I love Tai Chi. I love its gracefulness. I love how it stretches my lower back. Actually, I hear some Silat is really good for that. But I haven't unlocked Tai Chi the way I know some of you guys have unlocked Tai Chi. Sparring games emphasizes the focus on learning as you are formally assigning the goals of the game. Absolutely. Man, there's some great teachers out there, man. There's some great instructors out there. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. Sometimes it's a penis. Sometimes it's a rattan stick. Why'd you go there? Why'd you go there? Okay, guys. Hey, listen, thank you guys very much for your time. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I think I'm getting better at these podcasts. You know how I know? It's because sometimes I actually listen to them after. I'm like, hey, I was saying some interesting things. But any of you guys in the comment section, even if you missed the live. But any of you guys in the comment section, if at any point you're like, yeah, I'd like to hop on the FMA Source, FMA Dumpster Fire podcast, will you guys reach out to me, please, and let me know? Let me know what you want to talk about. Send me some videos that we can deconstruct together. Yeah, because I mean, I'm not gonna just, just do this, right? I need some guests. And by the way, once I get my shit together, I'm gonna have some guests on, people that people like. Not that no one likes you guys. I like you. But like, I'm gonna get some high profile dudes up in the podcast, and I'm gonna ask them some real shit. You know what I mean? Like, I think I've developed a reputation where I'm kind of allowed to ask what would normally be douchebag questions, but they kind of get where I'm coming from, right? So like I might ask like a Balintawak guy, right? So what makes Balintawak really suck, you know? Or I'll ask a Bikini Tersha guy. So tell me about your cult, right? Like, because they know, like, obviously, I don't mean that shit. But I think asking questions in those ways can really, first of all, it's more entertaining. Like, hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm good, man. Oh, how's COVID? Oh, and then it's fucking 15 minutes talking about vaccines. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. Yo, hit the subscribe button, or just hit the like button, right? Please don't make me beg. It's just that I think I'm creating some good content here, and I think I have got some pretty like really killer content that I'm kind of just waiting until I reach like 2,000 subscribers or something like that. There's a whole thing to it. But yeah, I got some Master Henry Aspera knife stuff that I still got to release. There's a lot of stuff that I haven't released that really don't have a place on Funker Tactical, really don't have a place on Aperture Fight Forum, really don't have a place on my personal Facebook page. So I'm going to FMA the crap out of this FMA channel. And I hope you guys like it. All right. And I'm not really asking for a whole lot. Buy a t-shirt now and then, I guess, if you can. Angle 5. Angle5.com. I really gotta. Oh, I'm doing some collabs with some artists on Angle 5. Check this out. Right? Always showing some love to the other people. This was from another podcast. Right here. Just, if you make FMA products, if you got an FMA thing, right? If you got a concept or whatever, just hit me up on Facebook and we'll talk about it. Simple as that, right? Because eventually I'm going to charge people. Eventually, like if this podcast gets big, like, come on, can't do this stuff for free. Especially if you're going to try to sell something, like I should, help me out. But for now, we're in this growth phase. This is like a community thing, and I want to make sure that the early adopters, right, get a friggin' benefit, and I'll give you guys a discount on them all when this is like the number one FMA channel ever in the history of FMA channels. No, but for real, I think most of you guys know what I'm about. I want to help out some FMA businesses, help out some instructors, give avenues for marketing that may not be available. Just kind of level the playing field, So, and your support for now is, subscribing, hitting that like button, leaving a comment, just making sure that at least YouTube is like, oh, this guy makes FMA content. We're going to feed it to FMA people. So that's all I'm really asking for now. But thank you guys very much for your time. I appreciate you keeping me company. I appreciate your comments. And until next time, I'm going to keep working. I'm going to keep working on improving this community, its reach, its influence, so that it can serve as many of my homies as possible. Homies first and foremost, right? I'm not even going to lie about that. It's not going to be one of those like unbiased journalistic, right? Come on. That doesn't exist, right? In FMA, you're going to have an unbiased journalistic integrity FMA channel. Not here. Not this guy. I got my biases. Please check out www.bikini.university. because I made those videos. Duh, I'm gonna promote it. Plus, I believe in it. But I'm gonna spread the love. I'm gonna spread the love, right? And I hope you guys spread the love. I am a freaking rambler. I'm a rambler. All right, Sensei Emmett, hoping to get you on my podcast. Okay, you hop on my podcast, and then I'll go on your podcast. Actually, no, let's do that the other way around. Your podcast first. I don't know. You have an awesome channel, bro. You should have a lot more subs. I know I should totally have a lot more subs, but really, I'm inconsistent, right? I do this thing when I feel like it, and also I neglected it for many, many years. This was just literally my dumping station for footage and stuff that didn't fit in any of the channels that I was actually trying to grow. Now I'm trying to grow this channel. Now, because of this stupid FMA thing that just gripped my heart and refuses to let go, now I got to be like, okay, well, I should probably monetize this so my wife doesn't think I'm just swinging sticks with my homies, which is exactly what I'm doing. But, if I can, pay for my kids' shoes or something while hopping on a podcast and talking with my homies, who's also trying to feed his kids, trying to sell a polymer like knife or whatever, or a Zoom class, then everybody wins. Then the homies get to do what we love, get paid, and our wives don't bug us. It's a win-win. So thank you, Mark Gallardo. Thank you guys for watching. My name is GN, aka Paulo Rubio. Real face, real name, not no fake ass forum. Tough guy, right? I'm not going to ramble anymore. Thank you for joining me. I'm out. Until next time. Bugay, mabuhay, balut.